Quora Questions. What progressive mantra bothers you the most? Michael Smolinski says, the mantra about privilege troubles me because it is absolutely nothing new. In elementary school, we learned about the haves and have-nots. It is easy to comprehend. After all, I am talking about elementary school material. At the time, I never for one moment assumed that my generation was the first to identify this distinctive concept. Therefore, people who are hung up on the idea of privilege are not woke. On the contrary, if they had been awake in elementary school, then they would know that this is an old concept. Instead, it is simply an idea that they can rally behind because it provides an easy scapegoat for their problems. In reality, however, it demonstrates a childish approach to a problem that adults have known of and confronted since always. There have always been the haves and the have-nots. Instead of getting woke, the people who perseverate about privilege need to get a life and get a job and get real. Matthew Bates says, progressives need people to feel like victims, otherwise there's no social justice to progress towards. The day progressive supporters look in the mirror and say to themselves, I had a fair chance, and if I'm not happy with the results, I have no one to blame but myself. The movement will die. That's the progressive mantra that bothers me the most. The need to feel like a victim, the need to feel like you're being oppressed, the thought that there's some system to blame for your problems, the thought that your struggles are somehow unique or worse than anyone else's struggles because of something about yourself that you can't change. Dallas McKay says, voting against your own self-interest? How are you supposed to know what my interests are? And so what if I am? Are you assuming I'm stupid? I live in a few urban centers. I totally understand why progressives are how they are. Cities are seriously a hard place to live in. You need an activist government, but that's you. Here's what you need to understand. We're fairly happy out here, and we don't need an activist government. Any of the social welfare benefits you offer really aren't needed, but since you're offering, we don't need free college. We wouldn't mind universal health care. Abortion is a touchy subject, and taxation hurts us. We tend to have a lower pain threshold when it comes to taxing the rich. We know our rich people. We go to church with them. They tend to be the first in line to help out when people are in trouble. They own businesses that employ us. We have less economic segregation out here. Our poor kids and our rich kids go to the same schools. We shop at the same stores. We are keenly aware of what happens when they lose revenue. Cities, for all their fabulous diversity, lack integration. We do not. We may only have one Asian family in town, but we know them intimately. The city may have 10,000 Asians, but they are strangers. You may see the same Arab man at the gas station every day because you get your coffee there. You never see him outside of that setting. Your ideas about equality and inequality seem strange to us. How am I privileged when Luke, the black assistant principal at the middle school, is making more and a more prestigious job? Nuts and bolts are, we have very different needs and a vastly different POV. So how is it that I don't know my best interests? There are more comments that I'll get to next time, but Dallas McKay brings out a good point. Why is the phrase voting against your own self-interest even a thing? If I decide to vote for something, even if it's a stupid thing, then I'll vote for it. If you want to change my mind on it, then do so. But as a politician, arriving at a conclusion that the person you're talking to is an idiot immediately because he's voting something that you don't agree with is a recipe for you not to listen to your voters. That's probably why this is exactly where we are right now. Politicians don't listen to their voters, and they merely take up simplistic mantras and try to run them to the finish line. Unfortunately, a nation can only survive for so long on mantras and sloganeering before things start to fall apart. Hence, where we are now.